If you are struggling with getting dinner on the table, this is the video for you. I know how super crazy it is, so stay tuned for some super easy and delicious kid-friendly recipes. Hey guys, welcome back to the FreezerFit YouTube channel. My name is Jen and I am an expert chef with FreezerFit. I've got some awesome recipes for you today. All of these are super kid-friendly and delicious. First up, we are going to make an oven-baked barbecue chicken. This one goes really well with either some fries or mashed potatoes, maybe a baked potato and a vegetable. We're also going to make a really delicious creamy chicken noodle soup. This one has very good kid-friendly flavors, nothing strong in there, really just kind of a good home-style comforting dish. And the last one is some air fryer taquitos. My kids love these and you aren't gonna wanna miss this, so let's get started. We're gonna start out with the barbecue baked chicken, and for this recipe, you'll need some chicken breasts, olive oil, some paprika, liquid smoke, minced garlic, some barbecue sauce, some lemon, and some pepper. Now, can you just take barbecue sauce and pour it in a pan with chicken and bake it? Of course you can, but I really like this recipe because I think the flavor is super unique. And so I'm just whisking all of the sauce ingredients together in a measuring cup here. The thing I also like about this recipe is that you can really use any kind of barbecue sauce that you want. So if you want like a sweeter barbecue sauce, use that. If you want more of a hickory smoked flavor, find that. They also make some really good sugar-free barbecue sauces nowadays, if that's something that you are interested in. I'm adding my liquid smoke and my paprika. Liquid smoke is very, very strong, so you definitely only need a tiny little bit. I'm also going to add some garlic and just give that a whisk. I have my chicken breasts in a gallon bag here in one of the freezer bag holders. Those are super convenient for making freezer meals. We'll go ahead and link those down below if you need to pick some up. They make freezer meals so easy. And then all you do is just pour the sauce over the chicken and then flatten it out. I always like to make sure that I just kind of mix the bag up before I put it in the freezer, just to make sure that everything is incorporated evenly. And I always try to freeze my bags flat because then you can stack them on top of one another in the freezer and it will just save you a lot of space. So this is the day that I made this. I took it out the night before and just defrosted it in the fridge. I am greasing a foil pan and I'm just adding my barbecue chicken breasts to that. And then I am going to drizzle over a little bit of the sauce that was left in the bag just so the chicken breasts don't get dry while they're in the oven. But this recipe obviously could not be easier. And I don't know really many kids that don't like barbecue chicken. Barbecue chicken is something that I used to make my kids a lot, especially when they were toddlers, because it was something that everyone could agree on. To make some sides for this dinner, I'm just going to throw some tater tots in the oven along with the chicken while that is baking. And then I also had some corn on the cob that I got from the farmer's market, so I'm going to cook that up. And here was our dinner for tonight. So I made the tots super crispy because that's how we like them. And then we had our chicken breasts and our corn on the cob. Super simple meal, and I highly encourage you to try this chicken recipe. It is so good. You will definitely not regret it, and your kids will love it. Next up, we are going to make this creamy chicken noodle soup. This one was also another big hit with my family, and the flavors in this are just super kid-friendly, and everyone loves it. So I'm going to start out by just chopping up some carrots. You can also add onion and celery to this recipe if you'd like. I left them out just because my kids aren't necessarily crazy about onions and celery, but they don't mind carrots. So I'm just using up some baby carrots that I had in my refrigerator, and I'm going to put those in the bottom of my freezer bag. I just put one large chicken breast in there, and then I'm also going to squeeze in some garlic paste. I'm also going to add some herbs and some salt and pepper. So I've got parsley. I'm going to also add some oregano. One thing I always try to do is to keep my spice cabinet stocked up because I can just use them for so many things, especially when I'm doing freezer meals. Now, this recipe does call for quite a bit of chicken broth. I am choosing not to add it to the bag along with the chicken and the veggies because I find that when I add a lot of broth to my freezer bags, it just takes up a lot of unneeded space in my freezer, and I can just easily add that when I'm cooking it in the slow cooker anyway. So after I thawed it out overnight in the fridge, here's what it looked like. I'm going to go ahead and throw it in my slow cooker, and then this is when I'm going to go ahead and add my chicken broth. So I like to use the Knorr chicken bouillon powder. I keep it on hand in my pantry. I also use the beef bouillon powder. I find that it's super flavorful and it works just as well as canned or boxed broth. And honestly, I actually like the flavor even better a lot of the time. And then you also don't have to take up room in your pantry storing all of those cans and boxes of broth. So here's what the chicken looked like after I cooked it for about 4 hours on low. You can see how easy that chicken breast is shredding. And I also find that when I make dishes with pasta or like a soup from a freezer meal, you don't need as much chicken because just 1 or 2 chicken breasts will really shred up to be kind of a lot and spread throughout the soup. So to thicken the soup and make it a little bit creamy, I'm just going to mix up some milk and half with a couple tablespoons of cornstarch. And I'm just whisking that in a measuring cup. This is a trick that we often use with freezer meals, especially after we cook them in the Instant Pot or the slow cooker to kind of thicken any sauce or broth that's going to go with your meal. So I'm adding back in my shredded chicken, and then I'm going to give that a stir. And then I will also add the milk mixture. You could use just half and half or just milk. It depends on what you have on hand and kind of, how creamy you want it to be. Obviously, if you use all half and half, it's going to be a little bit richer. I added some dry egg noodles, and these are going to cook right in the broth in the crock pot. Super easy. You don't have to boil them on the stove or anything like that. Basically, you just set it to high, put the lid on, and the noodles will cook in about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how hot your slow cooker is. But this is what it turned out like. At this point, you can taste it and adjust the seasoning, add more salt and pepper if it needs it. Like I said, really, really love this recipe. Both of my kids loved it. We just had this with some cheese and crackers, and then I also had some fruit and just some cut up veggies on the side. Don't make dinner complicated. It can definitely be as simple as you'd like it to be. Okay, so next up, we're going to make some air fryer chicken taquitos, and this is another super kid-friendly dish. I'm taking a shortcut from the store and buying some already cooked rotisserie chicken. If you want to cook and shred your own chicken, you definitely can. One thing I will say is that if you do purchase kind of pre-made rotisserie chicken at the store, it does tend to be seasoned pretty heavily with salt. So you do want to kind of omit any salt until you taste things. That's the only thing I would give you advice on that. To my bowl, I'm going to add my chicken along with 4 ounces of 1/3 less fat cream cheese. And this is going to be the mixture that's going to go inside of our chicken taquitos. So I'm seasoning that with some taco seasoning. And then I'm also going to add some shredded cheese to this. So just about a cup of Mexican shredded cheese, or you could use Monterey Jack or cheddar, whatever you'd like. And then just go ahead and combine this with a fork. If you're not sure about the seasoning, you can go ahead and taste it at this point and see if it needs more salt. One other thing you could add to this would be chopped green chilies. Those would make it a little bit spicier. I don't know that every single kid would like that, but some probably wouldn't mind it. For the tortillas, I took some corn tortillas and I wrapped them up in a wet paper towel and just microwaved them until they were pliable. That's really important to do. Otherwise, when you try to roll up the taquitos, they will crack and break. You can also use warmed flour tortillas with these if you want to. I find that I really like the way that the corn tortillas crisp up in the air fryer, so that's what I used with these. But after you go ahead and assemble them, basically you can put them in a freezer bag, stick a label on, and these can go in your freezer until you're ready to make them. And these are super easy to cook and really fast as well because you can cook them in the air fryer. So I put them in the air fryer, I sprayed them with some avocado oil spray, and I'm just going to cook them for about 10 minutes, 5 minutes on each side. Make sure you flip and spray them halfway through so that both sides can get crispy. But here's what they look like when they are done. You can serve these with salsa or sour cream or guacamole, or you could even make some queso if you wanted to. Super kid friendly and really good. So I hope this video gave you guys some good ideas about what to make for your kids, especially with the busy fall sports season. I know it's killing us over here with my 2 kids. But let me know in the comments below what kind of videos you guys want to see next here on the FreezerFit channel. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.